Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. I hope you enjoy. A Sovereign's Upsetting Choice, written by ________. Weeks had a habit of becoming months, and months became years in short order. A year had passed since the Feast of the Bayonets, and the situation had only grown more bloody. Several major engagements had been had, nominally, between Sovereign Beetlesheen's new government and the rebellious nobles. So far as the Elfin army was concerned, it was a squabble between nobles, at least on paper. In actuality, each engagement had Elfin army elements attached to each side. Usually, they were reserves, but twice the army comprised the primary combatants on both sides. Despite the Sovereign's young age, she proved to be a capable, but not truly skilled, general. Her ace in the hole were always her human mercenaries, her household guard, while the army, in its split state, had the various Elven house guards practice traditional and honorable line tactics. Her mercenaries was something new. No matter their uniform, they were all light infantry. Light infantry, supported by cavalry and horse artillery. They were incorporeal specters, distracting entire divisions. Beetlesheen's household guard and loyal army elements might have been fewer in number, but the common infantryman would have never known. When she attacked, her forces always outnumbered her opponent's forces. Opponent commanders can never make heads nor tails of her deployment. But with a human household guard sometimes supporting the main attack, and other times deploying to confuse and harass the flanks and supply lines. Other times, her human commanders took it upon themselves to launch raids and strikes that had nothing to do with their battle plan. Beetlesheen didn't fight a war like it was supposed to be fought, and it was maddening. If she didn't fight proper wars, why should her opposition observe common courtesy? She might have set legal precedent with her document, a document of nobility had signed, but if she didn't follow the rules, why should they? They declared her an unfit sovereign, stating the document they had signed invalid and improper. They stated that no document could limit the will of the noble families. The first lashed out by arresting the publicly executing her envoys. Then they were very public about their suppression of supposed rebellious peasants, as was their noble right. Beetlesheen's power base was centered on the constant influx of refugees and peasants seeking better conditions and a brighter future. When the household guard of several opposition families, supported by army units that were loyal to them, slaughtered peasants attempting to defect and migrate to her lands, Beetlesheen was faced with a troubling conundrum. Her forces were powerful enough to check any advance her opposition made, but she couldn't protect those migrating to her cause. Her opposition was making her guarantee of support and protection hollow, as they left thousands of Elven peasants dead in the fields and along the highways. The combined affront was enough to shake even the most stoic of persons. Despite that, Beetlesheen maintained an air of calm. It took her a week to determine what she needed to do. Even if her solution drove her to tears she'd let no one else see, but tears nonetheless. The transition could have been so simple, could have been so peaceful and full of greatness. Was it her fault? Was it their fault? She told herself that it was opponent's fault, but everyone was their own worst critic. If only she hadn't started this bloody revolt. "Sergeant Ali is here, as you requested," spoke Beetlesheen's adjutant after knocking, preceding the human by a few steps before holding the heavy door open. "Sergeant, I'm happy to see you," spoke Beetlesheen as she regarded one of her mercenaries. Though he still wore the butternut orange trousers and periwinkle jacket of a general household guard, he had accents and modifications that were atypical. His jacket sleeves were rolled up to mid-forearm, revealing a wooden bead bracelet on his left wrist. In his ears he wore 4 piercings, 2 in each ear. Around his neck he wore a simple scarf of a drab white hue. All of them represented gifts from Elven peasants, gifts no soldier or noble would ever be caught in public wearing, much less in front of their liege lord. Beetlesheen's genuine smile couldn't have been more contagious. This was the person for her task, as if the gods themselves had sculpted him. "How is your Alvin?" she asked as she stepped around the desk, offering a handshake instead of a formal salutes and bows. "Better. Your kind is patient and kind," he responded. A flourish of pink suddenly accented his tanned cheeks. "Some of us can be," Beetlesheen offered with a crooked smile and a laugh. "I want to do something special with you, Sergeant, but I'm not sure you'll survive it. Do you understand?" Ollie nodded. "Danger. That is what I'm paid for, yes?" He grinned, causing Beetlesheen to grin. "Yes, it is. You will lead a group of soldiers after those who are disloyal to me. I don't care about the infantrymen and peasants. I care about the noble and officer." Beetlesheen paused, cocking her head at Ollie's impish grin. "Bad people, bad things, order," he offered a sigh, his grin quickly returning. "You want bad things for the bad people, yes?" Beetlesheen managed to stifle her mirth, adding, "Yes. Bad people need to be punished. Very bad people. You and what's left of your platoon are now dragoons." She repeated the phrase, also using her best human dialect. "Dragoons of the Imperial Army. I want you to bring them into line, to punish those who need punishment. You are no longer a sergeant. I cannot make you an outsider, an officer. But I can give you my warrant. You will be my warrant officer, leading the 10th Dragoon Company. Do you understand?" Ollie nodded. 10th Dragoons, punish bad ones." He cocked his head to the side. "What is warrant officer?" Beetlesheen smiled brightly again. "Like an officer, but not an officer. Higher than all soldiers, but lower than officer. Understand?" Ollie nodded. "Very old enlisted, I understand." That wasn't quite right, but Beetlesheen decided to let it slip. "Protect the peasants, and guide peasants here." For the first time during the conversation, Beetlesheen's smile vanished. "No," she frowned, her eyes drifting down to her feet. "You do not protect. You attack and punish. Protecting is not your concern. You will punish and destroy those who hurt the helpless." Her eye was raised to Ollie's eyes. The human nodded. "Protection, not my division. I hurt who hurts, yes?" Beetlesheen had a ghost of a smile across her lips. "Yes, Warrant Officer Ollie. Hurt those who'd hurt my people." The 10th Dragoons were clad in traditional Imperial Dragoon colors, an unbleached cotton jacket of an off-white that was accurately described as eggshell, with blue huge trousers, and a side cap the same color as their jacket. Given the track record of humans in Beetlesheen's employment, one would be right in assuming that was only standard aspect of the 10th Dragoons. Most bizarrely, their first notable engagement was a defeat. The defeat Beetlesheen's opposition tried to exploit, but whose exploitation only served to mark them as a rallying point. Despite being told not to concern themselves with protecting migrating peasants, their first engagement was just that. 16 human dragoons faced off against a full division of opposition guardsmen and army regiments. A single company trying to safeguard several hundred from slaughter. Skirmish was the name of the game. Anything that make that superior opposition force think twice before advancing. Overall, they were successful. Successful due to a single invention, the repeating firearm. While they were rare, Ollie's entire company was equipped with 2 different types of repeating lever-action rifles. That was why they had been selected to secure the farthest point of Beetlesheen's power base. That was why she had given this particular assignment. That, and the rumor from her human officers. For Ollie and a good segment of his company weren't from the same region as the rest of her human mercenaries. They were from a distant desert in the mountains similar to her own homeland. There had been men of questionable repute. 3 of those men of questionable repute faced off against a company of opposition soldiers. 3, given the choice of delaying a slaughter or surrendering, chose to delay and protect. Though the number of enemy soldiers always swelled higher as the story was told, those 3 humans always remained the same. 3 against 100, 1,000, or 10,000. It didn't matter. They had died, and their delaying action allowed the peasants to reach safety. An attempt at belittling Beetlesheen's human soldiers was quickly erected, marking the grave of 3 soldiers. Here lie 3 human heroes. To the peasants they protected, The headline of opposition newspapers couldn't have been more accurate. End of story. I would quickly like to thank the Tier 5 members, Marky, Cam Maxwell, Caspar Arnolds, Oakfield, Lord Azrakul, and it's difficult to pronounce. Thank you very much.